when, what's the name, Rutherford Falls? Yep, Rutherford Falls. What's that guy's name?
Ed Helms.
Ed Helms. Okay,
Are we starting, Lisa? You didn't do the opening. All right, I guess we're skipping that part.
I'm gonna say her name. Melvin.
All right. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I apologize for the unorganized entrance. Good morning, everyone. My name is Victor Rocha. My co-host is Jason Giles, and this is the new normal. Welcome. Today's conversation, we're talking with the crew from the National Indian Gaming Association. Talking to my boss, Chairman Ernest Stevens Jr., the pride of Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're talking to our friend Brian Sullivan, who is Brian. What exactly is your title? I know
Vice President of Gaming for Clarion North America.
Vice President of Clarion North America. So if you step over the border in South America, he has no power over there.
Yeah. Mexico and above.
He has nothing. So, and then obviously my friend and co-host Jason Giles. Good morning, Jason.
Morning. How's it going?
Good. You know what? I'd like to talk about the first and most obvious thing, which is the pandemic and the end of the pandemic. You know,
Isn't it great? It's over. It's all over.
Isn't it wonderful? It's completely over. Oh my God. I'm picking up the newspapers. Did you guys see the video of the stuff in Shanghai where people are yelling out the windows because they locked it down? And, you know, so we're going to be trying it like that. You know what I mean? So we're going to be doing business. We're going to be locked in hotel windows, be shouting out at each other from across the courtyards, trying to do business that way. We'll just set the machines in the courtyards and we'll just be set for this year, next year, you know? So, but, you know, I joke, but, you know, there's a serious, you know, what we said last year when we did our conference, we felt that we were so fortunate because, you know, we were in the dip between the end of the C-19 and the first surge. And right, you know, we were all flying into Las Vegas and we were getting these reports. And it actually, during our conference, the mask policy changed right in the middle of the show, where people had to start wearing masks in our hotels and in Las Vegas and stuff like that. We're not going to see anything that extreme. As a matter of fact, I see a real pushback with the government and with shutdowns and stuff like that. And, you know, the only reason I bring it up because it really is something we should be talking about. Although I don't think it's going to affect us. I think, you know, I had hoped that this end of the surge was the end of this last 2-year experience and we're going to get out. And listen, in California, it feels like it. You know, the mask policy is very lenient. I personally, I went and got my booster on Monday. So, you know, I wanted to be prepared and taking care of myself and making sure that, but, you know, I think we're going to be okay. I think we're fine, but I think it's something we as an industry need to keep an eye on is the fact that this pandemic is not over yet, you know, and, you know, I hope this isn't the new normal. You know what I mean? I hope this isn't. I'm praying this isn't. But so, Jason, you know, before we dive into the thing, what do you think, man?
Yeah, you know, there was a big surge in England right now, and even before the ice show, and Britain still didn't put any restrictions back on. They just basically watched the hospitalization rates, and as long as those stayed low, it was sort of like everybody for themselves. And you know, it's not. You know, they have almost a 90% vaccination rate there and 75% booster rate. So it's different. In this country, you know, we're lagging behind the rest of you know, Western democracies and advanced countries economically. So it could be worse here, but again, nobody seems to really care. And, you know, I just got my second booster yesterday, and I'm afraid that, you know, we're just going to move on like it's not happening. But if you're unvaccinated or, you know, haven't had a shot in a while, you're going to probably feel the effects of this Omicron new subvariant. And this virus, you know, you can start reading the articles now. This thing might be around for the rest of our lives. And it's still got a long way to run through China and even back through Africa, because they only have a 20% vaccination rate in continent of Africa. So, we'll see what happens. I mean, Orange County, where we're at, has not reimposed any mandates or anything. And right now the surge seems to be limited to the Northeast, basically from DC up to Maine. And you're looking at a place like Vermont that handled it really, really well, but they're still having big outbreaks right now. And it seems like, no matter what, and at some point you might catch this in your lifetime. That's kind of what doctors are preparing everybody for. But if you're boosted and you keep everything up to date, you should be fine. So, or at least not go to the hospital. It seems like just hospitalization is the new metric. As long as hospitals aren't getting overrun, we're fine with, Washington, D.C. hosting a gridiron dinner with 700 people, and over 70 people at that dinner got COVID, including, a lot of Biden's folks and a lot of folks in the government. So, you just got to be careful. I still think, now we have N95 masks available everywhere. We'll have them at the show for free. I don't know where we are if we're going to have testing for free, but it's going to be as safe as you want it to be, is basically what it's going to come down to.
Sorry, guys, I keep having internet problems, so I'm dealing with internet issues over here in my office. Well, I don't mean to bum everybody else, but I think it's important that we, talk about the elephant in the room. And, I think for us in California, the big deal is that, the hospitalization rate is low. And, we're in California is got a pretty decent vaccination rate, probably a little better than, Texas or something like that. But, we have to be honest, and we can't just whistle past the graveyard and pretend everything's okay. I think we'd be doing a disservice to everyone by pretending this thing didn't exist. So with that out of the way, Chairman. Yeah, Jason, I'm going to be going in and out, so you can take it till I fix this thing. So anyhow, Chairman Stevens, welcome. How are you doing, sir?
Good. And
welcome.
I'm the other side of the coin. I'm a little bit paranoid, a little bit careful. I'm 62, almost 63 years old. So, I want to be a little bit careful. I have an appointment this afternoon for my next booster. I went in last week and had an appointment and everything, and they checked me. They said, you already have that booster. So they turned me around, and, I follow the rules at the health center in my community. So they turned me around. And then on the news later on that week was President Biden getting his booster for 50 and over, and I'm well over 50. So I got another appointment this afternoon. I'll be able to get that shot I tried to get last week. And my wife will be there with me. We still wearing our masks, still practicing the social distance, and still being careful because we're old folks, and we can't take a chance. Over the holidays, most of my family came out of Christmas with the COVID. Unfortunately, my wife and I were able to dodge it so far, one day at a time. And I think the boosters, even if it does catch up to us, I think the boosters help us, and I think the masks help us, and I think social distance helps us. So, well, the CDC in California, or the CDC and the California guidelines, Orange County guidelines, I think are all less restrictive, but nonetheless, I still encourage you. I don't think anybody should be traveling without a vaccine. I don't think anybody, certainly without a vaccine, should be walking around without a mask. I think that respect for their health, but respect for others around them. So that's what I'm going to encourage. I'm going to keep wearing my mask and keep trying to be a role model and lead by example. But I'm not going to bully anybody. I'm not going to, I think on both sides of the coin, you get your aggressive folks, and I'm not going to be that, but I'm going to be a role model. I'm going to be a little bit extreme as far as what I believe in, but I think you got to be careful, especially when you're an old dude like me. So, I'm that's kind of where I'm at on the vaccine, Victor. I have some more updates for you if you want me to. Go ahead.
Okay, Chairman, is that weather updates? Did you guys get dumped a bunch of snow up that way? And
we had a little bit of hail, but we got some we got powerful medicine here. We made it go around us.
Oh, okay.
I take that back. I think it's still kind of looming, but we're hoping it's going to go across the southern part of the state. That's kind of our hope. But we got a bunch of hail the other day, but I haven't seen any of the major snow that's supposed to be reaping havoc all over our neighborhood. But I think it's south of us.
Great. And Brian, correct me if, I mean, on site at the trade show at the convention center, we're gonna have, just the standard, plenty of sanitation and free masks. Is
Yes.
that right?
Yes, we do have a supply of masks. Most people bring their own these days and everything because they travel with it. They want their own mask on it. So we have that. But we're also, we set up registration, back in December. And even back in December, there was a little bit of a spike and everything. So we set it up with the Clear system and checking. So, people registered under the, thought process that we're going to be checking. So we're going to be checking, when you come in, there is a process that you have to go through. You can use the Clear system. If you've been vaccinated, you're fine. Or if you have a test, a negative test, it will be required to enter in, and it'll be very quick and very fast because most people are done. And, the Clear app is just really up. I'm green. So you go, you'll get a wristband, and then you can go to registration and get what you need. But, we are going to practice that, no matter what the regulations are there, we do try to stay with the local regulations, but we made some promises in registration for folks that we would do that. So we have to keep the promise, and we will be checking as we go in. Promise it'll be quick. It'll be really quick and fast. Check you off, go in, get your wristband, and you'll go. But again, Chairman has been quite clear that, under his leadership, he wants things safe. So we're going to make sure that everything is safe as we proceed into the show.
And our guy is still a little bit, I can see his lips moving, but I can't hear him. So I'll keep
Yeah, you're
going.
on mute, Victor.
Victor, you're muted.
You're on mute.
Sorry,
Yeah, there you
guys.
There you are.
Yeah,
There you are.
I'm having trouble. Like I said, I was saying that I'm so bummed that we're still having this conversation. Right before a show, I want to have this positive message and talk about our attendance numbers and the sessions and all this stuff, and yet here we are talking about the pandemic again.
I think we're okay. And I agree with you. But I think if you really look at it, the overall objective is to be safe. And I don't think that we have to worry too much as long as we're careful and safe. So I think we're okay. I think we're going into this thing being careful, but I don't think we're going into, the CDC in Orange County are not holding us down. I think people are ready, free to move around. And so we're just encouraging to be careful. So I kind of wanted to just kind of expand that a little bit, Victor. I think we're in good shape here. And I think we have a great show. I think we're going to be free to move around. We just want to be careful. So let me just tell you briefly what some folks want to know. Golf tournaments. The chairman's tournament's been sold out for over a month now. So,
Wow.
So that one is going to be at the Strawberry. No, that's going to be at the Tustin Ranch Golf Club, about 11 miles away, and that starts at 8 a.m. On 8 a.m. on the vice chairman's tournament, there's probably still a couple slots open on that. I'm not sure. Pretty much everything's sold out. That one at Strawberry Farms Golf Club over in Irvine, that's about 17 miles away. Remember, 17 miles is not like on my beautiful Oneida Res, here Green Bay, Wisconsin. 17 miles is about, for some of us res guys, it's about a 10-minute drive. You get moving around Southern California, 17 miles is about 30 minutes. So be careful, it can be either one. And then our board meeting is Monday at 5 p.m. at the Pacific Ballroom at the Hilton. So we'll have our board and our friends assembled there, and we, getting our work done there and get some more updates. And then that evening, we go to our board meeting Monday. Tuesday's our big golf tournaments, and Tuesday evening is our chairman's welcome reception, 6:30 p.m. House of Blues, 400 Disney Way in Anaheim, and it's a 4-minute drive from our hotel, so it's right around the corner there. And so that's those are a couple of the big events there that we're looking forward to. And our annual membership meeting starts promptly 8 o'clock, maybe a little bit of Indian time, not too much. Most of our tribal leaders and our elders and our hardworking elected officials don't really believe in Indian time. And that's kind of more of a joke or rhetorical. Most of our leaders don't even like Indian time. They want us prompted, but we built a little cushion in there. So just we're allowing a little bit of that leeway. So about 8 o'clock, maybe a little after, we'll get our color guard in there and then do our opening session. And so that is the major part of our meeting. We'll have some great updates and some work that we need to talk about and some of the things that we're doing. So that's what we're there for, folks. I know some folks might go to Disneyland. I won't be. I got lost in Disneyland when I was a little boy, so I won't be over there. Still dealing with that trauma. So you know, that's the major part of our work. And then we have our big luncheon, our Chairman's Leadership Award luncheon. We got a couple of recognitions that one of them is at the luncheon is going to be, we're going to recognize for lifetime of achievement, one of the most prolific leaders in our history, the faith keeper from Onondaga, Mr. Orrin Lyons. He was scheduled before the pandemic, and we were able to get him back in spite of the fact that he's aged a couple years. I think he was only 89 when we were first going to honor him. So
wow,
that's on Wednesday, room 259 on April 20th. Lifetime of achievement for 91-year-old faith keeper Orrin Lyons, my good friend and mentor. My father and Orrin worked together in DC way back in the 70s, and he's still working today with the Iroquois Nationals and his traditional responsibilities. An amazing and beautiful man. And then of course that'll be there in our luncheon. And then our cultural reception that evening, of course, we'll have a few dancers. I hope we're going to have the bird singers coming in, and that one is formerly known as the Tim Wapato Sovereign Warrior Award during our cultural event. And this is the first year we add Tim Wapato's boss, who whatever those guys are doing, I hate to even think to what those guys are doing up in heaven. But Rick Hill will now join that as honoring. So now it's now called the Rick Hill Tim Wapato Sovereign Warrior Award. And so we're going to be honoring them again and their legacy. And Tim's widow, Gay Kingman Wapato, and Rick's former employee and mentor, Gay Kingman Wapato, will be there to host with us. And we'll have, have our Alaska dancers, and then we'll have our special presentation by our bird singers who are local, traditional, and beautiful in the message that they bring to the community. So they'll be there. And then, of course, we'll have a couple songs from my grandsons will dance to the Warrior Song. And so we'll have a bunch of that. That'll be Wednesday, April 20th, 5 to 7 in room 259. Again, it's the Sovereign Warrior Award. And here's the key. One of the mentors and teachers and brothers and teammates in some of the early gaming battles that hung with Gay and Tim and Rick and everybody else was Mr. Anthony Pico, the former chairman at Viejas. So Anthony is the recipient of this award. It's going to be beautiful. Historically, it's a great event. So we're looking forward. These guys all did it. They led the way. I was a young kid watching them. So I'm excited about that. And so that's the cultural event. And then again, the big morning, Thursday morning, we're going to cut the ribbon, and the Anaheim Convention Center lobby area outside halls A and B. Again, we're going to open that up. We're going to see a couple of our big major sponsors. I'm going to be, I'll keep pounding those names out there because we couldn't do it without the tribes, that supported us, and the businesses that gave us big dollars to make this happen. And I'll have their names for you. But we'll cut that ribbon about 8:30. We'll have some celebrities there about 8:30, 8:45, somewhere in there. And then we're going to hit a few of our major sponsors on the trade show floor. 11 a.m. at the Chairman's Lounge, booth 372. We're going to have some recognitions and awards. And there's so many highlights. I can't go through them all. But we're going to have this. We're going to have these native actors from the show Rutherford Falls, and working with Sarah Eaglehart and Crystal Echohawk.
Yeah.
Those two ladies are professionals, Indian ladies who have worked their way into this industry and helping to do what Hollywood's been trying to do forever, is making sure Indians are the champions in the world. And we've been able to do a lot of that lately, but these are the natives that are making it happen. So these two ladies are bringing us these actors, Sierra Teller, and I apologize, I can't say the name. She's a screenwriter for Rutherford Falls, but it looks like it says Ornelius. And again, I apologize, and I'll apologize to Sarah when she comes. And then one of the actors is, again, last name I'm not good at, Jana Schmelding, and she's going to be there, and they're going to bring their one of their actor friends. His name is Ed Helms. So if you guys don't know who Ed Helms are, that's okay, because I didn't until Victor described to me. That's the guy in the Las Vegas Vacation, or not Vacation, the Las Vegas movie called Hangover, and the guy lost his tooth in Vegas. That's all it takes for us to figure that one out. So anyway, he's going to be there. So we got a lot of things happening there. After we cut the ribbon on the trade show floor, we're going to be inviting what is the guy's name? I apologize, I know him forever. We're on the 2 o'clock. We have an honoring for Bird Running Water. He's a producer for Amazon Studios, and our secretary Paulette Jordan is going to make that presentation. That's on Thursday on the floor at 2 o'clock at booth 1472. Now Bird is nearing retirement, is what I'm understanding. But somebody that has such a strong foothold in Hollywood, hard to believe that such a young man and such a powerful presence in Hollywood is going to retire. So maybe I might try to talk him out of that. But
he was with the Sundance, and he was very instrumental in helping a lot of young natives get into film. A lot of our friends are in there now too. So he's leaving Sundance and going into private sector to make some real money, I assume.
Indians are always just helping people and being that they deserve to get into that private sector. And so speaking of private sector, let me tell you about my friend Twyla True. She's a Native American entrepreneur. She's an Oglala, and she's helped a lot of people. She's involved in this hip hop industry. She owns jewelry stores in Vegas and Southern California, and she's an Indian lady who just grew up in the big city and got home to meet her folks and know where she's from and just get to know her the folks over in Pine Ridge and their beautiful community. But she's from Southern California. She's done a lot of great things both in the hip hop industry and promoting that industry, promoting entrepreneurship. She's a successful business entrepreneur. We're going to honor her. In addition to my good friend, Mr. Dominic Ortiz. I don't know if you remember, a few years back, we honored his father, who retired as a military man and went into tribal leadership at Prairie Band Potawatomi. His name was Steve Ortiz. We gave him the Chairman's Leadership Award, a lifetime of achievement. Dominic's not quite there yet, because Dominic's a young man and doing great things. He was at SAG Chips, and I knew him because he went to Haskell with my sons. But he is now the CEO at Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. His name is Dominic Ortiz. Those two folks at 11 o'clock on Thursday are going to receive one of our Chairman's Leadership Awards. And again, we're just doing what we can. Dominic was scheduled to come last year and receive that award, and he got the job at Potawatomi now. I'm from this neighborhood. Us Indians in Wisconsin, a lot of our parents went to Milwaukee to seek fame and fortune, mostly just trying to find a job and survive. And so we're kind of having Milwaukee roots and the Milwaukee Indian Community School roots. So the Forest County Potawatomi is really a powerful presence, even though they're beautiful communities in northern Wisconsin. It's a long and beautiful story about what they did to establish presence in Milwaukee. So again, Dominic's their CEO. He is a Prairie Band Potawatomi member, and he's doing great things. A young Native person, and I forgot the name of the. He's on this national board, and now I'm stumbling now. I apologize. It's like they're like auditors. I forgot the name. Maybe you guys could help me. I'll chime back in, but. He's
like NAFOA or something like that.
Oh,
it's financial officers.
Yeah, it's not NAFOA. It's a national board. He's like a Native person, which is rare on it. I'll get it for you guys. It's really important because he's on that board, and it's along that same lines, and that's kind of what we originally started to. That's why we honored him. But then he's climbing the ladder in these big jobs, and he's from the res, and and his dad is a former chairman, and his brother works for runs the Kansas lottery. It's just, these guys are good guys, and they're just like everybody else we're honoring. They're just Indian folks from the res climbing the ladder, working hard. And that's what I always said, Victor. Years ago, we were just trying to, get this industry started. So we hired people from Vegas, Atlantic City, the big city, all these business people. We still do a little bit of that. But today, we are the experts. Indian country are the experts. These are just a bunch of folks that is a reflection of that. Before I'll turn it back over to you guys, but I want to say that Dominic is a CPA, and he's a member of that CPA organization. He's on their board. And he's the CPAs, I think, as powerful as any one of our auditors and doctors and anything like that. The CPA is so important to our industry as we can continue to move forward. So that's kind of what I got in a nutshell. And just excited about NIGA and Anaheim, and excited about everything. And thank you guys for all your hard work. I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, thank you, Chairman. There was a lot there, and it's. It's really funny is when I'm working on the agenda and I start planning on things that you're doing, it's like, I know whatever you're doing, there's going to be a big crowd there. And it's kind of really funny is that you bring such a spirit to this conference. When you get on that floor, there's just an energy, and with the big crowd that you bring, Chairman, and this is not being sycophantic or anything, but you really do bring an energy to the show that is irreplaceable, so that's always fun, and look at Mike Wahlberg. It was like, wow, who's big crowd this, it's like, oh, that's for the chairman, but you're next. It might be a little smaller, but it'll be next.
And Victor, I don't know what that word meant you just said, but it's the leadership that brings them. It's the teams that bring us, you guys that bring them. I just get to be the point person, and I'm honored by your statement. We work hard, and I am energized by that, and I'm proud to sit here in Oneida, Wisconsin, to be a part of that, because when I was a kid growing up in Milwaukee, you had little and nothing, like so many of our folks, and now our kids could go to college because of gaming. Now our kids can see celebrities and meet people because of gaming, and tribal government gaming, which is led by tribal leaders. So it really boils down to the leadership in Indian country.
Thank you, sir. We really appreciate your leadership is inspirational, and that's the honest God truth. Speaking of inspiring, Brian, how are you doing, man? We're sorry you can't follow that act, brother. You can't follow that. There's no following.
That's why Chairman leads. We follow. So things are going well. I did see a question come up though. If we're sending out an email in regards to the method for COVID, and the answer is yes. An email will be going out. Things are changing a lot. We're tweaking it. I just spoke with marketing this morning. So yes, an email will be going out regarding that. But Chairman covered quite a bit there. One thing I noticed he was focusing on was the show floor and the lounges. A few years ago, Victor, you started putting a little content in the Chairman's Lounge, and it's kind of blossomed there, and now it's spread over into the Tribal Leaders Lounge and everything. So which is really good. There's a lot of activity, a lot of information, but also entertainment and things is going to be there, which draws a lot of people to the show floor. And there's a lot of exhibiting companies. That's what they're looking for. So I know there's a tremendous amount in both the Chairman's Lounge and the Tribal Leaders Lounge. So much so that we actually had to increase the size of them a little bit to accommodate everything.
Yeah, it really goes to Chairman Stevens. I mean, without his energy, without his personality, and just being as big as he is, what it is, we started. If I see a stage, I immediately start putting things on there. I create content. There's an empty room there. Let's put something in there, And with the chairman, his energy just demands your attention, and it became an event. It isn't just something droll with people running on about fluffing their own feathers and giving their awards. It became an event, so you go with it. And that has a lot to do with just Ernie's energy. And the funny thing is that he has this Pied Piper effect. And that's what I was, we're doing the Rutherford Falls things. And after Ernie's done, the Rutherford Falls thing is on the opposite side of the hall, and Ernie's going to go, well, I'll be back, and the crowd's going to get up, and they're going to follow him, and they're going to go to the other side, and all of a sudden there's going to be this big crowd on the other side, and that's what's going to happen. that will happen, and it brings an energy that you don't see any other show, with that type of focus. You know what I mean? Usually they're just all spread out, and with NIGA you have that, and then you have this big event right in the middle.
Here I am big. I weighed in at 301 pounds this morning, and my goal is to be closer to 290 by trade show.
Wow. Take your jacket off. That's what I do.
Brian, guy's funny, Brian.
So Brian, we've been working on this show since we basically hit the ground. The thing is, people, normally we have a year to work on these shows, and because of the pandemic, our timeline has been totally shortened. And with this one, our show was in July, and I started working on this show back in the end of the summer. So it's been nonstop for me. I've been almost 2 years working on these shows nonstop. And even when the pandemic was down, we were planning, and we had that moving target, which was so frustrating, but yet here we are. Brian, how's it feel to be back in business again? Does it feel normal?
We're getting there. It's normal. A lot of things are coming back. There's a significant change though this time as we're going to Anaheim. So we get used to, we were in San Diego quite a bit. We get used to the place. We know the place and everything. So, but there's new things going on in Anaheim there. So it's the same, but it's different. So which is good. It always keeps us on our toes and make sure we're going. The attendance is looking good. The exhibitor count is up and everything. So we're actually looking at numbers that are similar to 2019 pre-pandemic. So there's been a tremendous amount to talk about. Victor, you and I speak quite often. With everything that's going on in Indian country. It's hottest. It really is. There's so much information and so much happening. From the pandemic. There's new acquisitions on the strip that are to be talked about. Things. So it's a combination of things. So yes, we're excited to be back with all the new rules and things. And the event is really getting back to pre-pandemic. And plus all the things that have happened in the meantime. There's a spotlight on.
Yeah, it feels good to be in Anaheim. I think for me, I love California. It's my home, and it's obviously very easy for me. But California is a big draw for us in this industry. People want to come to California. They want to get out of the long winters. And I can tell you right now, if today's any indicator, the show is going to be phenomenal. The weather has been incredible for the last 2 weeks. It was a little cold the other night, but like on Friday last week, it was like 90 degrees, and it felt like, summers, I felt like putting on shorts again. So the weather's been really incredible. Blue skies, the mornings are a little brisk, but then that burns off and you get these beautiful California days. So everyone's going to be getting their fix of that beautiful California weather, so we did dodging another bullet. And, it's always been amazing to me how that's such a big part of what San Diego is about. When we do those shows and it's a little cold and we're in that environment and that sun's coming through those windows, and it just feels so wonderful. And so we're going to have that again too. Everybody will get their California fix. And so the trade show floor is looking good, huh, Brian?
Very good. Everything is solid. From the front to the back. We have the major companies in like IGT. A very good friend. Are always speaking with them. Which it's very close. Today's Wednesday. Moving starts at 5 a.m. on Monday. So if anybody would like to get up at 5 a.m., come and see it. So. But that movement starts at 5 a.m. and there's a lot that goes into it. It starts at 5 a.m. on Monday, but the show doesn't open until Thursday. So that tells you the kind of work that goes on in a couple of days there with teams of people setting up their booths, logistically getting everything in, setting up registration, so that when all the attendees get there, it looks nice and everything is done. But it doesn't happen overnight. So, one of
the other things that's reminded me is that, the show this year, normally we would start on a Tuesday, to do our stuff. But this year, the load-ins are on Monday because we figured, by loading it on the weekend, it actually costs a lot of money. because you're dealing with union, you're dealing with union laborers, you're dealing with Sunday. So you're dealing with all these, and it becomes very expensive, you know? So I thought that was really smart for NIGA to do something. It puts it at the end of the week. It kind of feels a little weird not traveling on a Sunday, but you know, that's nice. But that was one of the reasons why we did do it like that. So there would be allow us to keep some of our money instead of having to spend it on all that union labor and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
and
I don't know why
Yeah.
it took so long. I noticed OIGA is now Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you're seeing more and more organizations move to midweek just to, you know, reduce costs, give people a full weekend, and it's just better if you can pull it off. So
yeah, and you know what? It kind of gives everybody that either you came in early and you did it, which I didn't like coming in early, or you get to stick around a couple of days after it's done and, you know, enjoy the California weather. So I thought that was really smart too. So, is anything else we need to know, Brian? So we have all the events. You know, the other thing, I think we mentioned it before. The thing that I liked about this venue is that the way it's set up, it's more stacked and leveled as opposed to stretched out where we were in Las Vegas. So there will be less steps getting to where you're going to go. It'd be a lot easier to find each other, and you don't have to walk as far. The hotels are right there. So, you know, the traveling is really been cut down. That's really one of the advantages of Anaheim is the fact that everything's so close together.
Yeah, the host hotel is the Hilton, which is across the courtyard. And you're right, Victor, you go in on the ground level and right above it is where the sessions are. There is a little skyway bridge that takes you over to ACC North on the second floor, where the annual meeting will be, where the luncheon will be, where the cultural reception will be. The caucuses and things are over there. So you're right. It's stacked with a little leg off of it and everything, but everything is right there. And if you're staying at the Hilton, it's directly across from the courtyard, across the courtyard.
Yeah, and in Las Vegas, I had over 70 miles of my pedometer from walking around in Las Vegas. So that was pretty brutal. You know, I don't think I could do that again, although it was kind of nice to get that much exercise. So Jason, how's it going, brother?
good. You know, we'll get to Brian in a minute and give us, you know, a preview on attendance and just how big the show is going to be. But NFOA was last week, and I talked to their executive director, and he said it was a record-breaking crowd in Seattle for NFOA. And just, you know, they didn't have masks or anything like that either. No mandate there, and in I don't know if it's that King County there in Seattle. And I heard a lot of positive things. I met with some tribes last week who had just returned from there and said it was a good conference. And so, you know, they're about 2,000 to 3,000 folks. We're hoping to get over 10. And, you know, we're looking forward to everyone coming out and enjoying Anaheim.
Wow. You know what? It's been wonderful to see the growth, even through the pandemic. I think that just shows that, you know, the need for people to get together and be in the same space to do business. I know it's hard to sell millions of dollars worth of product when you're not in the same room, you know? So, and that was the point. So Brian, what are you hearing from the vendors? How are their attitudes?
It's exciting. They're excited to be back. There's so much going on. You know, there's even a few new company names. You know, Side Games has changed their name and things. So there's a lot of excitement around. People are waiting for it. We're in communication with the top exhibitors almost daily because, frankly, the materials are on the way. They're already being received at the warehouses, and things are getting set up. You know, all that carpet, miles of carpet, you can't order it the day before and expect it to go in the next day when you need a few miles of carpet. So things are in very good shape. I meet with a lot of the people that are helping us, the decorator, the AV companies, all these, you know, the building, the facilities and everything. And I had a conversation with them over the past couple of days, and they're basically saying, we're ready to go tomorrow if you need be. So again, there is a lot of planning. It's not just planning a birthday party. You know, all the smaller, the devil is in the details on it. So, you know, trucking stuff in, whether they shipped it to the warehouse, you know, if you have shipped, be sure you have your tracking number just in case it's gone awry or somewhere like that. So there's a lot of little things. Bags, when people come in and they pick up a bag, there's almost 20 items that go in the bag. How do they get in the bag? So there's a tremendous amount of things that have to be lined up ahead of time. And these days with shortages, the time frame was even longer, and we sweat out, a few things. But again, as I mentioned earlier, we could go tomorrow if we needed to on the event and get it done. That's the cooperation and the ability of the teams that are in place to get the event up and running.
Brian, you're a vice president? I just thought you were like a hall monitor or something. I didn't know.
I also have a broom. I sweep the place out too. So
That's the key. That's the key, Ryan. And I apologize for teasing you. I think that this Indian gaming industry, we've outdid our numbers. Going into the pandemic, we were expected to be down 50%, and we came out of this thing strong. As a matter of fact, it was a safe place to go and be during the pandemic because the machines were wiped clean, and people, you had to take your temperature and wear your mask, and they're still wiping our machines at every casino in Indian country. So I think it really is a reflection. And so let me come back to you, Brian, because a VP, I didn't see a VP. I saw a guy who was working on the front line. They're on Monday and they're on Saturday. And so I'm really trying to give you kind of a backhanded comment. I mean, I'm just trying to say that I never saw you in that light as a VP. I see you as a worker, because you're there on the front line for us and you're there at the end, and we depend on your hard work. And I tell you, Brian, that's how Indian country survived this pandemic. That's how we build back.
Chairman, that means a lot to me. Thank you. Because I do try to do that. I think it was Jackson Brown used to sing, we're the first to come and the last to go. So that's what we do.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Brian, it's I think, it feels like when we were in Vegas, it felt like there was a lot of pressure. We were the first out of the gate. There was a lot of pressure on us, but that was a real success. When I hear about the attendance numbers, that makes me really happy. I think that's from the hard work of everyone in the industry. The fact that tribal gaming is still going strong, the fact that National Gaming Association is still important and still relevant in the country. So, sorry, I had someone call me on the phone. So, this is really exciting. Not to change the subject, I noticed right now ICE is going on. That is our a conference that we usually attend. I didn't go because I have our show, which is really wild. I feel a little, bummed that we couldn't go to Europe, but, business is business. What are you hearing about ICE? How's that going over there?
It's going very well. There was a significant change when they moved the dates. Significant change. A lot of the land-based folks were not able to participate, but the show opened up. They had almost 30,000 registered. So I've already got some texts and things. I've been speaking with Stuart Hunter and Eva and Kate and Alex and the usual suspects, and things are going very well over there. Yes, it's smaller, but it's done very, very well. The opening, I have some photos. The crowds are very good. All positive news. ICE, I think it's iceglobal.com has video of it and reports of what's going on. So, it's just doing very, very well. And some of our friends we'll see next week. Some of the team members are, in London now. And Victor, like you, I was scheduled to go, but really didn't want to risk it, the week before finalizing everything, going over to London, because so much is happening. But we will see some of our friends will be coming from London to Anaheim next week.
Wow.
Let them know we're once we get on our feet and get things going again, we're looking forward to again building back our presence and even expanding our Indian country's presence in ICE. We're looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Kate's looking forward to seeing you, Chairman.
Yeah. So, you know what, Jason, let's talk about the agenda a little bit. And this is kind of my wheelhouse. One of the things that we did, and I think I talked about this last time, is that, we really leaned heavily into sports betting, online gaming, and interactive wagering, and just basically, looking at where the industry's going. We just wanted to make sure that we were ahead of ahead of the curve and discussing these things that are important. And, the things that are going to be important now and that are even going to be even more important in the future, like online gaming and sports betting and stuff like that. So, one of the things that we do is, like I said, if I see a spot, I can create content. And I think everybody knows. If I walk by a hall closet and nobody's in there, I want to stick somebody in there and stick a sign outside it. But what we're doing is on Tuesday from 1 p.m. till 5:30, we're doing a thing called a deep dive called the business of interactive wagering. And what this is basically breaking down the business of sports betting and online gaming down into 4 components, into the business model, vendor selection, operations, and marketing. And I've got 4 experts and people who I know are just really know their stuff to talk about it and break it down. If our last several years were any indicators, these have always been very popular and done really well. Our keynote is going to be Joe Asher, who's now the president of sports betting for IGT. And those of us who know Joe's been around forever. And I'm going to be interviewing him and talking about where the industry's going, why it's important for Indian country to be prepared for mobile, talking about where the industry's going, what we expected, what just happened, things like, Paula Interactive being bought out for $170 million. They're Paula Interactive. And so basically talking about the business of interactive wagering. And I'm really proud of it. I think it's really strong. I don't know the attendance numbers, but I'm sure they're going to be well. I think if you guys know me, you know what? I don't look at numbers. I just do my work. And after it's all done, everybody tells me how things are doing. So I just focus on what I do. And, I don't chase that stuff. I just focus on the work, and everything else seems to take care of itself. So that's what we're doing on Tuesday. So after the golfing, we're going to be doing the deep dive, and it's geared toward people in the industry, tribes that haven't done it yet, but are preparing to it. So it's introductory, 101, 102, and so it's something I feel that it's very important, and I believe it's going to be. I can't wait to see how it's going to turn out. And I'm sure we'll be doing this again and other stuff like that next year. In our sessions, we have gaming. We're talking about the floor. We're talking about digital cash payments. We're talking about slot machines. We're talking about table games. We're talking about AI. So, we're still leaning heavily on the business of gaming still. You come to NIGA, you're going to leave with an education. You're going to know what's coming around the corner, and you're going to be prepared. And that's what we really try to do, is make sure that our people understand where the industry is going. And listen, gaming isn't going anywhere. Slot machines are not going anywhere. They're still the big draw. They're bringing in the revenue. But sports betting and online gaming is what everybody's talking about. It's where the states are looking at them as another way of taxation. Lotteries are looking at expansion. So all around us, there is expansion and there is encroachment. And it's very important that the tribes understand what is coming down the road and they're prepared for it. So we at the National Gaming Association, this is what we live, eat, and breathe. That's all we do, is thinking about how is Indian country going to be prepared for the future. And that's what we have here. So, what, I've been working on this agenda for, 6 months or something like that. And, it feels the strongest that it's ever been. There's all killer, no filler. Oh my gosh, it's just so much. So like I said, we're doing gaming. Gaming is about the floor and the casino floor and what's going on. When we talk about resort operations, we're talking about the business, we're talking about expansion, talking about F&B, talking about operations. And some of our specialized one, some of the things that we're doing, which are special and unique, we will be looking at digital currency. We'll be looking at Bitcoin. We'll be looking at how the tribes are approaching it, what's happening in the industry, how we should be looking at it. We're going to be looking at cannabis again. Those are always very well attended. We have a session on emerging gaming. We're going to be talking about the importance of free play. we'll be talking. Oh, I know. One of the sessions that I'm really proud of that we're going to be doing is not just talking about esports, but gambling, which we hadn't done before. One of the issues that I've seen, and I've seen personally, is that the tribes have looked at esports and they just don't know how to deal with it. What do we do with it? Do we market to the parents? And as soon as you have kids involved, people are just like kind of hands off. And a lot of the tribes don't really know what to do with esports. Well, now we can talk about it in the context of gambling, where it makes a lot more sense. And now it's on. The industry is looking at esports and looking at the gambling. It's been happening in Europe. It's been happening in Asia. Now it's finally, the conversation is finally, the industry is mature enough that we can finally have this conversation in the United States and in Indian countries. So that one's going to be really great. I'm really proud of that. Another great one, we're talking about the power of influencers and, how there's this new way of communication, how these people have, thousands and millions of influencers and stuff like that. And, the way we do business, the way we communicate is changing. So we did this last in Vegas, and we're doing it again. We're bringing it more from the business side of it and talking about but we're bringing in some influence. The last time we had Brian Christopher. This time we have who do we have? Slot Cats. We have the 500 Club, Kelly Kuffler. So we have some other influencers talking about what they do. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but I know San Manuel, when they opened up their new slot or high rollers area, they brought in a lot of influencers and stuff like that. So this is part of the new way of doing business. Talking about the convergence of gaming, sports, and media, iGaming, oh my gosh, blockchain, cryptocurrency. So we're talking about that. There's my friend Julie. So, it really is plugged into today, plugged into tomorrow, and we're not taking any chances. So it's really forward looking, and, putting together an agenda like that is never easy, but when it's all said and done, it's a real sense of accomplishment for me. Now we have a track on sports betting, and in this one, I wanted to make sure that we are really looking at this industry from a business perspective and understanding at all angles where it fits on the gaming floor, whether we're talking about mobile, whether we're talking about retail, and I want to make sure that we have a true understanding of that. Now, one of the big sessions in this track is going to be about California sports betting. And to be honest with you, I'm still working on that. I'll announce the speakers probably by Friday. It's almost done. I apologize. This is an issue that I have to handle with sensitivity and making sure that the tribal message is out there and not a confusing message, but a message of unity and a message of honesty. So this will be done. I apologize for those who are waiting. I promise it will be important. It'll be compelling. Just trust me and believe in me. I won't let you down. The rest of these, another one that I think I'm really proud of is looking at affiliates and what they're going to do and what they're going to bring to the gaming industry. And like influencers, we're not used to dealing with them. They're out there. They're very important in the on-gaming and the iGaming ecosystem, and they're just coming in Indian country. So I have my friend Steve Ruddick is coming in, and we're talking about the power of affiliates and what they do and what role they're going to be playing in Indian country, talking about partnerships, talking about when a session we call the synergy of online verticals, about sports betting and online gaming, to make sure that we understand that it isn't really just about sports betting, but online gaming too is really, that's really what that's the pie in the sky. Sports betting is very important, but it's just a pass through. Everybody's going to be preparing for online gaming. That's where the money is. So make sure that we understand that. Enterprise development, talk about the business of gaming, politics and policy. Obviously, we're Indian country, so we're going to be talking about that. Hot topics, talking about regulation, talking about some case studies, talking about entertainment, the pandemic, we're doing health and safety. What I didn't do this year was really lean a lot on COVID and talking about health and safety. We've done that, you know what I mean? And I think we're all been beaten over the head. I mean, obviously this this webcast, the first 20 minutes was talking about health and safety and stuff like that. So I think we know it. I think it's part about it. It's baked in. I didn't think that we needed a full track on health and safety. I just figured those issues are already baked in. We're going to be talking them and stuff like that. So that's why you don't see it. There are someone, I have my my friends, Andrew Hofstetter is helping me put together health and safety stuff. And so that's going to be there. We're talking about cannabis, we're talking about sovereignty, LGBTQ, rights in the workplace, MMIW. Another one, really important, we're talking about trademarks, as we're going online, making sure that tribes have their intellectual property protected as we're going and stuff like that, which is a real big issue. And actually, we're talking that on a couple different levels. So, man, it's all here, guys. You know what? It's a really, and one of the other things that this year is actually, believe it or not, we have about 20 sessions less than we did in Las Vegas, which was 20 sessions less than we had the year before. I think at one point when we were in Las Vegas, we had about 110 sessions, believe it or not. If you guys remember that, the board, it was massive. And the only complaint I got was there's too much good information, which I are probably blowing smoke in my ear. I was like, oh, thank you. Oh, but I wanted to make it more manageable so we can actually see the stuff that's important and not to have so many fine points, so there's less, but I think it's better. So you'll be able to do that. So if I missed anything, please let me know. If you think I should be, or if the National Game Association should be talking about stuff we don't know, let me know, and so there was a lot there. I'm on my phone, but are there any questions that we can ask, Jason?
Before you go,
Yeah.
I want to yield to Jason, if he could give us a little bit of a legislative update and a little bit of DC update. And then I have to go into another Zoom call. So I'm going to get off now. Again, thank you, everybody, for all your hard work. And we appreciate it. We're excited going into the show. And again, we couldn't do it without the leadership, the tribes, and all of our vendors and business folks. And just looking forward to a great week next week.
Yep, it's gonna be great, sir. All right, sir. We'll see you later.
Next week.
See ya.
Next week.
Yeah, legislatively, that's all on the agenda there for our membership meeting. And but frankly, Congress is out of session. It's Easter week. They're not going to come back and do very much this summer, and it's on to election season in the fall. So I know a lot of folks want to get legislation through this year, but we're back in that point where unless you can get it on the defense bill, which is a high hurdle, it ain't happening. So, I mean, a lot of our stuff is going to be focused on NIGC. Bureau of Indian Affairs announced that they're taking a look again at off-reservation gaming and land and the trust issues. And they're going to be meeting with tribes throughout our trade show. They have some listening sessions set up. You'll see signs around for that. So, this is more about, the vendors and getting our folks back in touch with the industry. And we'll take care of the politics as we get closer to November elections. There's just not a lot going on right now. As you can see, the Ukraine war dominates all the headlines, and we're just, trying to work our way to be in a good position in the fall to try to get something done when they hopefully attempt to try to pass another budget for 2023. So, but we're excited about this trade show, and we're going to be focused on the trade show floor and getting everybody down there and getting everybody to events. House of Blues, we didn't mention House of Blues, a welcome reception. It's walking distance from the convention center. It's not very far at all. So everything is right around there. You're not going to get your steps like you did last time, Victor. So you better get your morning workout in. So
70 miles, man. I had 70 miles on that thing, and my meniscus was torn too. So I mean, it was, it's this Vegas was fun. It felt that we were, we had just dodged a bullet. So it was exciting, but this one, it feels closer to normal. You know what I mean? I think the fact that I didn't do a full track on health and safety and stuff like that, I just felt, we've done that. Let's do the business again. And by the way, at 12 p.m. on Friday, I'm I'm moderating a session on the trade show floor with Eva Bakken, our dear friend Eva Bakken, who is Polish and Ukrainian. And, you know, Eva told me that at ICE, the second largest contingent to ICE was the Ukrainians because
Wow.
of the technology and stuff like that. So we're going to have a session called The Effect of the Ukraine Invasion on Gaming, talking about it from a supply line an issue and from that aspect. And Jim Class talking about how we should expect to see it, how it affects us on the ground and the technology and stuff like that. So we are going to be addressing that issue from a business perspective. We won't be talking politics. We won't be talking right or wrong. But you know, Eva, has family in the Ukraine that are currently staying with her in Poland with their family. So
Wow.
this is, you know, this is the real deal. So to have our dear friend Eva talking about it, I thought it'd be a really interesting conversation. So, you know, we're at the top of the hour. You know what? I saw Ernest, I saw your message. No, we did talk about that. We did talk about the politics. We will be talking about that at the trade show about California sports betting and stuff like that. But we just said that there will be the session, and I'll be announcing the speakers probably by Friday and stuff like that. And that's probably the last session that needs to be done. So again, listen, we're excited to see everyone. We won't be here next week. We'll be at the trade show floor. I'm arriving on Monday evening. I guess Jason comes in also. I guess everybody's traveling on Monday. Brian, when do you get in?
Sunday. I'm the first one in and the last to go.
Wow. All right, brother. Well, then I will see everyone. You listen, we're really excited. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. We will see you guys next week. The show starts. We're back in business. Let's make some money. All right.
Excellent.
Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys.
See you guys.
All right,
Take care.
bye.
See you, Jason. See you, Victor.
See ya.